Jai Hind, dear children. Today we are going to study about History Part 2, 9th chapter, Women, Caste and Reform. The following are the important topics we are discussing today. The first one, overview, that is introduction. Second one, working towards change. Third one, changing the lives of widows. Fourth one, girls begin going to school. The last one is women write about women. So, dear children, watch the class carefully. Before going directly to the chapter, first we must know about a small summary about this chapter. This chapter deals with the concept related to women, caste and reform. It explains elaborately about the condition of women, how people were discriminated against based on their caste, education for girls, the non-Brahmin movement, etc. This chapter will make students understand how things were different 200 years ago. Dear children, we are moving the first part of this chapter, that is overview or introduction. In today's modern world, girls go to school and study with boys. After growing up, they go to colleges and universities and take up jobs after that. Before getting legally married, they have to be adults and can marry anyone they like, irrespective of their caste and community, and widows can remarry too. All women can vote and stand for elections, but these rights were not enjoyed by poor people as they had little or no access to education. But things were different 200 years ago. At an early stage, most children were married. In some parts of the country, women were forced to practice sati. Women's right to property were also restricted and there was no access to education. According to the caste system, Brahmins and Kshatriyas were considered as upper caste. Others, such as traders and moneylenders, often referred to as Vaishyas, were placed after them. Then came peasants and artisans, such as weavers and potters, referred to as Shudras. The lowest rung were those who labored to keep cities and villages clean or worked under upper caste. The upper caste considered this group as untouchable. The next topic is working towards change. In early 19th century, things changed because of the development of new forms of communication. Social reformers like Rajaram Mohan Roy founded Brahm Samaj in Calcutta. Rajaram Mohan Roy pioneered this reform movement. He opposed social practices such as discrimination on the basis of caste, untouchability, superstitions, and custom of sati. He wanted to spread the knowledge of Western education and bring about freedom and equality for women. So in this content, we must know about Rajaram Mohan Roy. He was one of the social reformer. Also, he founded Brahm Samaj in Calcutta. The next topic is changing the lives of widows. Rajaram Mohan Roy set up the Brahma Samaj to fight social evils. He began to campaign against the practice of sati. Many British officials criticized Indian traditions and customs. They supported him and in 1829 sati was banned. He also supported women's education. In the religious field, he opposed idol worship and meaningless rituals. Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar was one of the most famous reformers who suggested widow remarriage. In 1856, British officials passed the law permitting widow remarriage. Swami Dayananda Saraswati founded the Arya Samaj in 1875 and also supported widow remarriage. So in this content, we must know about who is Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar and Swami Dayananda Saraswati. The next topic is girls begin going to school. Many reformers felt that to improve the condition of women, education for girls was necessary. Many reformers in Bombay and Vidyasagar in Calcutta set up schools for girls. With the inauguration of first school in mid-19th century, many people feared that school would take the girls away from home and prevent them from doing domestic duties. Many people believed that girls should be kept away from the public spaces and they believed that they can get corrupting influence. In aristocratic Muslim families in North India, women learned to read Quran in Arabic. They were taught by women who came home to teach. The next topic is women right about women. Muslim women like Begums of Bhopal promoted education among women and founded a primary school for girls at Aligarh. Begum Rokeya Shekhawat Hossain started schools for Muslim girls in Patna and Kolkata. Indian women began to enter universities by 1880s. Some of them trained to be doctors and teachers. Tarabai Shinde got education at home at Pune, published a book, Stri Purusha Tulna, a comparison between women and men, criticizing the social differences between men and women. Pandita Ramabhai was a great scholar of Sanskrit, wrote a book about the miserable lives of upper class Hindu women. She founded a widow's home at Pune to provide shelter to widows who had been treated badly by their husband relatives. Later, women were trained to support themselves economically. Orthodox Hindu and Muslim nationalists were worried as women started adopting Western cultures and according to them that could corrupt and erode family values. Women started working for reforms. They wrote book, magazine, founded schools and training centers and set up women's associations. Women formed political pressure groups to push through laws for female suffrage. That means the right to vote. So these are the main topics. I hope all of you understood this much. Dear children, please read the textbook thoroughly and prepare the notes.
Women, caste and reform. Status of Indian women. Nowadays, girls can go to school and colleges. They have freedom to vote, stand for election, and can enjoy their rights. But before 200 years ago, things were not the same. Indian women had been given a subordinate status to men for centuries. Child marriage was very common in our society. Widows were not allowed to remarry, and they were promised, if they were chosen, to immolate herself on her husband's funeral pyre. This practice was called sati. Polygamy was fairly common between Hindus and Muslims. Women were denied education as it was felt that they had no role to play in public life. Reason for reform in women's position. Western education during colonial rule brought ideas like humanism, rationalism, and equality. They came to realize that reform in Indian society would be incomplete until the cause of women was taken up. The religious orthodoxy strongly opposed any effort at women's uplift, claiming that it would corrupt Indian culture. However, by the end of the 19th century, women were slowly entering public spaces which had long been reserved for men. Even though their numbers still remained low, a new era in the history of Indian women was started. Raja Ram Mohan Roy and the brining issue of Sati. Raja Ram Mohan Roy, a social reformer and the founder of Brahma Samaj, opposed Sati Pratha. He used his journal, Sambada Kaumudi, to launch a campaign against the practice. In 1828, Lord William Bentinck was appointed as the Governor-General of India. He declared Sati Pratha, with the help of Raja Ram Mohan Roy, to be illegal in India in 1929. Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar and Widow Remarriage Bill. Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar was a prominent Sanskrit scholar and social reformer. His story, Efforts in the Face of Strong Opposition, led the government to pass the Widow Remarriage Act in 1856. Jyotiba Phule, Justice Ranade, Kandukuri Veera Sulingam, and Bairamji Malabari were the other reformers who were in the favor of widow remarriage. Women's education. Most people believed that women's education was useless as it did not prepare them for household chores. They felt that educated women would refuse to do household work. In contrary, most reformers also felt that education for girls as necessary for the betterment of our society. The Bethune School for Girls was set by J.E.D. Bethune in Calcutta. Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar also set up a number of schools for girls in Bengal. Savitribai Phule was the first woman teacher in Maharashtra. By the end of the 19th century, more and more people were sending their daughters to school.